Hello and welcome to the Now Jakarta and a Leaders Magazine interview of a lady who probably is better known than virtually anybody else in Jakarta, in Indonesia, because she has done so many things. This is Ibu Shinta Kamdani. She is the CEO of Sintesa Group, which is across many sectors, including property, industry, energy, consumer products. But not just being in business, she makes her position work for Indonesia through her chairwomanship of the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce, KADIN, the Employers Association, APindo, and the Indonesian Business Council for Sustainable Development, as well as being a founder of Angel Investment Network. I mean, I can go on and on. You've done so many things. There's a whole list of awards as well that Shinta has got, including this year, I have to read this, the Commander of the Polar Star by King Carl Gustaf, the 16th of Sweden, which is a fantastic award. Just to start this whole thing off, why did you get the King Carl Gustaf Award, Shinta? That's a lovely thing to get.
Thank you, Alistair. Well, first of all, thank you everyone, and good to see you all virtually. Actually, the award that I received from the Swedish government is due to my involvement of course, as the Deputy Chairwoman of the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Part of my role is promoting economic cooperation between bilateral countries, so between Indonesia and certain countries, and in this case with Sweden, so promoting investment, trade, as well as many other cooperation. So really, it's more because of my involvement and facilitation throughout the years. So I was recognized, and of course, it was very true honor for me to receive it directly from him. So yeah, it's really been a tremendous experience, and I think it's very engaging, and for me, it was a good learning experience as well, because I feel like I can do something to promote more bilateral cooperation between Indonesia and other countries.
Fantastic. As I said in the introduction, you've done much more than just do business. You use your position to help Indonesia a lot. But let's go back to the beginning of your career. What made you decide to go into business? Was this something you wanted to do from school days, or did it happen later on? What made this decision just a natural, the family are in business, so I'm going to do it? How did it happen?
Yes, so I actually started my background is from a family business, so I started be exposed to business very early days when I was very, very young. And I always remember during family time, like during dinner, my parents will talk about what's happening at work and so forth. So I've been exposed to those conversations, and I think since also early age, my father would bring me to the office, factory, and so I was exposed to the office people, and I think by then I kind of had an idea. So maybe this will be my future. But throughout the years, I think I started my first job when I was 13, selling books. So I think my parents feel like the best thing to get your feet wet is through sales. So so that's what I did, trying to convince people to buy educational book for children. That's how I started. I remember Time Life book. So that's how I started my first job. And throughout the years, every school holiday, when my friends would go on holidays, I would spend also time working, not just for in the family business, but also working internship in other companies, in other people's business. So I got exposed very early working, and throughout my years in college also, in the university I was working at the same time, and I spent, I think, the last year of my university year almost full-time working. So when I came back after my studies and everything, I know this is my path. I did not really have to. I mean, I've been experienced working for other people as well, so I got deep into the going into the family business. So I started my job in a very lower position, and then get my way up. My first boss obviously was not. He doesn't care whether I'm whoever I was, daughter of owner or whatever. She doesn't care. So I had really to fight myself, and actually I feel it's tougher for me because I have to prove myself that I can do it because of my own merits, not because of who I am. So that's how I did it throughout my career, and until I think 10 years of working. Then after that, a new chapter of my life where I start I just feel that the group needs to get a new vision in terms of where we want to go, and that's how I came to my father, and this is my statement. Basically, I've been working for you for 10 years. I've been following your orders because of course the companies was very much shareholder driven in terms of the authority and the central power in terms of decision and so forth. And I said, but I have a different way, the way I look at it, and I think I'm ready. I said, I don't want to be just an employee for you. I want to be a partner. So that's what I did. And I came with a complete business plan. And, it's easier for me to say it now, but in actuality, during that time, it was a real struggle to convince him.
Right.
Until I got the ultimate decision to kind of revamp and transform the company, the business, basically.
Yeah, I've had the privilege of meeting your father and your mother over the years, and substantial achievers in their own, of course, which is a marvelous heritage to come into. But have you ever felt that being a woman, I know this is a sensitive question nowadays, has held you back in any way? Has that ever been an obstacle? Now, you've gone into a family company, so you're quite secure, but has that ever held you back within Indonesian society, within government positions, so on and so forth? Has that ever happened to you?
Yes, definitely, Alistair. Until today, it's still breaking the ceiling, right? I mean, people may say, of course, there's a big progress in Indonesia. Women leaders are more accepted and so forth. But in actuality, I think it's still a big struggle. I mean, yes, of course, the gender equality is already out there in the workplace as well, but still challenges is still ahead. I mean, if we would have the same candidate for a position, two candidates, female and male, for a certain position, it still would usually go to the male, despite similar skills. The same pay gap is still there, so we are still struggling in that aspect. I think that's a big issue, right? And it takes time to convince, and it takes time to prove yourself, I have to say. But there needs to always be a big push and motivation, and sometimes people mistake motivation with ambition. And that's also another criticism, that a woman, when they go into career ladder, once they go very in the top position, they say, oh, you are very, very ambitious, and that's why you get to the position, because you're too ambitious. So things like that will always be a stigma for women that are successful and being in leadership position. To me, this is a work in progress, and continue will be for Indonesia. I've been always called a triple minority, a woman, not just a woman, but I'm a non-Muslim, and I'm also a Chinese by descent, and I will joke about it. I think my triple minority might be my asset. So I said, I really don't care what you think, whether I'm in the government positions, or in more position that that may be harder, not just as women, but minority women to be accepted. But we fight, we struggle, we get the support system to go to make us be where we are. So yeah.
But you have made it to the top, right? I mean, do you feel that you have achieved what you set out to achieve, or is there still more to come? I mean, you are pretty close to the top of KADIN. You're pretty close to the top of all the things that you've tried to achieve. What's next? Can you get all the way to the leadership of
yeah? I think to me, it's not just about position. I think achieving your life goal is much more than that. Leading, it's not about just being a leadership position. I think a successful career is a successful life. So I have a very big priority on work-life balance, for example. And people always say, yeah, you may be successful in your career, but if you're not successful in your family, you're not successful person, basically. So I think the work-life balance is very, very important. We have to balance our life. And achievement, I think, to me, I'm getting to my goal and my vision in life. It's not just about heading to a certain top position, but more of what have I done, and what impact have I have I made into what I do, right? And I think that will never be enough, because as a human being, Alistair, I always feel we are still not like, I'm always inspired by Mother Teresa, because she's very selfless person, right? She never think of herself. She always think what I can do for others, how I can serve others, right? And that's really my ultimate goal, is that one day I don't have to think where Shinta is, what does Shinta want, but what can Shinta do for other people.
That's a wonderful philosophy, just echoed very nicely by the new president of the United States, who said for the first time in 4 years, the government is the servant of the people. And that's such a nice way of putting it. We are to be of service, to be of use to society. And I think certainly where you are now, you can be of great use to society. What do you think that the next steps for you are in this position that you've got? How can Indonesia is still in need of a lot of help? We're not there yet. I've been here for more than 40 years, and we're still talking potential. What can you do to help realize Indonesia's potential from where you are now?
Yeah, I think there's so much work that needs to be done for Indonesia. We just complete our biggest structural reform of ever, which is the Omnibus Law, and I was a big part of that, trying to support the government in the process. And I think we want to make Indonesia a big country, to make Indonesia whatever gold, in 2045, the target that we want as the biggest top 5 economy. Of course, that needs a lot to be done. And I think in my small way and small scale, representing the business voice, I feel we will always be needed to collaborate, to work with the government in providing the right and good ecosystem for Indonesia in terms of doing business in Indonesia. So not just ease of doing business, but the right investment climate. And to do so, I think government will need a lot of inputs from its business. And a lot of business, of course, think of themselves, of their business. But I think I'm reaching to the point now that I can't just think of my own business. That I'm thinking of, how about the industries? What can industry? How can industry be more developed? Which sectors have to be prioritized? What are the challenges that needs to be solved? So I look myself as a fixer and mobilizer, and that's what I do. I mean, sometimes a lot of the work I do and can't be seen, and I like it that way. The fact that I may not sit in a position in front, I might sit at the back seat, but I can drive through the back seat and help to mobilize things. And I think I love what I'm doing. I think one thing is to be passionate what you're doing. So I like the way I connect to people, you know, the way I support and help and learn. I think the key, and I will continue doing so. So if you ask me what will be my next job, it's not about position. And I think my next job is to continue doing what I'm doing, and to, you know, as long as I can feel I can still contribute, I will do so. But I think there is also the time that we need to think of more the things that we do outside of ourselves. And I think that is what's important. So if we want to do something for our country, support in a small little way that we can do within ourselves, within our communities, what can we do? And those are some of the work programs that I do. I mean, I think the small example is we talk about women empowerment. It's a big issue for Indonesia, and I was the one who's really promoting gender equality in the workplace. So Indonesia, I think we've talked about, you know, feminism. We talk about, you know, how we need to, you know, we women shouldn't be treated with discrimination and so forth. But how can things be done, right? And that's why I established what we call the Indonesian Business Coalition on Women Empowerment, for example. And that's really the need to have concrete, exact program in how to drive companies to know how to do it if they want to promote gender equality. We have, you know, the how-to, the checklist, you know, the certification, that standard that is important that companies need to do. So I think it's beyond talking, it's more implementation. And that's really is the key for me moving forward, to show that more also for our government, that they need help in the execution. They need help in implementation, what's happening on the ground. Everything what they do, even not just bad policy, even good policy, sometimes will not be useful if it cannot be executed properly. So I think that's where I see myself drive more from that aspect.
What happens if you are invited to go from the private sector to the public sector and get into that policy making? Is that something you would consider?
Well, I've you know, as you know, I served in the office of the vice president from 2015 to about 2017. I worked with in the vice president office. You know, I was exposed, more of exposed inside, but not really a permanent role. But from there, I can see that I don't think I'm drive to become a politician or being a civil servant inside. At the moment, I'm also sitting at the coordinating minister office, you know, supporting the expert staff. So I can see that happening, but I don't see myself being in politics. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I can't say. I don't know. I mean, only God will know what the future will bring me. All I can see right now is I will continue learning. I said what I learned at that time, they don't teach me at Harvard. So I always feel everything I do, I will continue learning. But yeah, I don't see it right now. And I will just walk the path and see well the future brings me.
Good. Somebody starting off in business, they're 22 years old, just come out of Harvard Business School, as you did many years ago. What advice would you give them to start off? They're coming back to Indonesia. What are you going to give them advice on? How do you get them to start and be useful to Indonesia?
So I have three things for myself that I believe in. One is purpose. Second is I need to have passion to what I do. And the third is perseverance. So this is what I always follow, starting from when I start my first job. I still mentor a lot of young ladies now because I love mentoring. But it's first we need to have a dream, as big as a dream as we can. If we don't have a dream, we don't know where to go, right? So I always believe, you know, dream has to be big and has to be real. Like you can see yourself being inside of that dream. So the purpose, it has to be purpose driven. We need to know what we want, whatever, whether that's work, whether that's personal life, whether that's your social life, you need to have a purpose. You need to know where you want to go. And maybe that purpose can change. Yes, it's fine. But at the beginning, you need to have a direction. And the second passion is because you need to love what you're doing. You can't be forced by your parents. You can't be forced by circumstances. You need to enjoy what you're doing. And maybe this is easier said than done because some people don't have choices. But as much as you do, you grow to love what you do. If you can't love it at the beginning, at the first sight. So that is, I think, very, very important because you're going to do this day in, day out. You want to be committed to it. So you need to be passionate about it. And the third thing, nothing beats hard work, right? Nothing will come on a silver platter. Even for me, who I would say blessed with very comfortable life, my parents always teach me, you work your own, right? You are not given your life in a silver platter. So you work hard and be independent. So I think that is very, very key. We have to work hard and we will fail many, many times. I fail many times, but from each failure, I always get up and learn something, right? So I feel failure is a path to success. I do believe in that because there is no way life is just about success. It has to be with series of failures as well. So with the hard work, we eventually will get somewhere. And I think at the end of the day, we want to life is a long life journey. That's right. So it's a long, it's a learning journey that we each day in our life we will always learn something new. So I think that will be my first kind of advice. And at the end of the day, also we need to understand that we're not alone. You do have a support system. You do have a network. Even maybe if it's not your family, we have now a lot of women network. Like I said, I mentor women. We give we give capital for startups, to invest in startups. So there are many ways now because there's such a huge network out there that can support you. So believe it, you're not alone. And with that in mind, you can do almost whatever you want to do.
What a fantastic way of looking at life. Shinta, I think we should call it a halt there because I don't think we can get a better point to stop. Inspiration for young people, inspiration for people at any stage in life. The triple minority who has become a success in a very difficult country. I think congratulations are due to you and not sitting on your laurels, but looking for more challenges. On behalf of Now Jakarta and MVP, what a great interview, a great inspiration. Let's hope as many young people see this as possible. And let's take this whole idea of gender equality very much forward. And we thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Alistair. Thank you very much.